Color Fixer Profile, The Blue Archive. A small, meek man wearing a grey suit and a blue tie, carrying a tablet giving off a signature blue glow. In a strange twist, the Blue Archive himself is completely devoid of any combat ability, beyond that of a person who has spent their entire life living in a nest, lacking both physical strength and combat skill of any kind. However, his power as a color fixer comes from the tablet he carries with him. Contained within this special tablet is a large militia of highly skilled and physically superhuman female gunsmen, which can be summoned upon the battlefield at his disposal. His status as a color fixer was earned by his ability not as a fighter, but as a commander, a role in which he is very adept at fulfilling. Every soldier within his army is a completely unique individual, each wielding different firearms and equipment. All of his equipment, weaponry, as well as the required ammunition, like the soldiers themselves, is sourced directly from his tablet, granting them an endless supply of any ammunition or equipment they might need. This of course allows them to largely circumvent the main grievances with firearms as the primary choice of weaponry within the city. However, if you think the Blue Archive can just make a living running a monopoly on ammunition and other combat equipment, the items produced by the tablet cease to exist upon leaving the hands of the Blue Archive soldiers. There was one instance during a fight where someone successfully disarmed one of the Blue Archive's soldiers. However, the moment the gun left her fingers, it vanished into thin air and then reappeared back into the soldier's hands. That is to say, unless there's a bullet fired from one of their guns, anything produced by the Blue Archive's tablet only exists within the hands of his soldiers. Aside from the weapons and equipment themselves, as said before, each soldier is highly skilled and physically superhuman. The extent varies with each individual soldier, but all of them are capable of incredible feats of speed, agility, and strength, with some having withstood exceptionally powerful attacks. Not only that, but upon taking fatal damage, rather than dying, the soldier will simply be returned to the tablet and can be brought back after a certain period of time. Their physical capabilities will come as a surprise to many, who, perhaps reasonably, underestimates these soldiers due to the fact that they're all young teenage girls, with only a select few at 18 according to Blue Archive himself. It should be noted that each individual soldier is a unique person, as opposed to mass-produced personalities, each one even wearing a different outfit as opposed to a set uniform for all of them. Certain soldiers do have outfits with similar design motifs, however, so there are smaller factions among his soldiers. Some soldiers have horns or even wings sprouting from their waists. However, it seems that none of them are capable of actual flight. Perhaps a short glide? Anyway, each soldier has a strange glowing circle band floating above their heads. According to Blue Archive, these are their halos. When all else fails, however, in addition to his soldiers and his tablet, the Blue Archive possesses a literal trump card. In one event, when the Blue Archive was forced into a desperate situation, and even all his soldiers failed him, he pulled out a small card and was then able to come up victorious. The exact powers of this card are unknown, as are its use cases. As far as can be gleaned from this single event, it is something of a last resort to use in dire situations. It is certainly wise to not reveal one's true hand or capabilities, so even when he walks around in the open with his soldiers, which I'll get into later, he still keeps some tricks up his sleeve. Now that we've covered all his combat capabilities, I would like to discuss the main icon of the Blue Archive, his tablet and soldiers he summons forth from it. There have been attempts to catalogue all of the Blue Archive soldiers. The completeness of such a catalogue is currently unknown. However, based on how he treats his soldiers, it's likely that each soldier has been summoned at least once, be it within a combat situation, or even outside of combat. Although he largely treats all his soldiers equally, showing no favoritism to one or the other, there is one single individual whose name he repeats often, by the name of Arona. Based on observations, it seems this singular Arona individual has never been summoned forth from the tablet, indicating that rather than a combative role, this Arona serves as something of an assistant. The nature of the tablet and his soldiers are unknown. How real are they? Do their bodies have the same physical processes like we do? Eating, drinking? Do they draw energy from the tablet? What about injuries? Do injuries heal over time or instantly upon returning to the tablet? Are they still conscious while in the tablet? Perhaps not even the Blue Archive knows the answers. However, one possible point of interest that we do know is the relationship between him and his soldiers. He has been seen around the city with his soldiers summoned even outside of combat situations. According to observations, he seems to serve a guardian/teacher role to his soldiers, calling them his students, while they in turn call him by the alias of Sensei. Whether his students were once actual people or artificial personalities, he seems to show actual care towards them and treating them as actual children rather than a typical commander and soldier relationship, even going out on little excursions around their sector of the city and eating food with them, as well as enjoying other leisurely activities. I wonder what would happen if their sensei dies. Would they be forced to accept a new master? Whoever picks up the tablet from his corpse. Or perhaps Sensei already has a contingency plan set in place for such an event. Regardless, well, that isn't likely to happen, and Versisti will enjoy this Blue Archive for a while yet.